Have you ever felt like life is a never-ending cycle and you are just trying to keep up with it? Have you ever wondered how to live happily even though the world is full of constant changes? Image of a person walking on a stormy road, trying to move on. Life is not just about existing. Can we slow down to find true peace in our hearts? One worker only saw his work as building walls. The second saw it as building a skyscraper. The third looked further, seeing it as building a new city. After 10 years, the first person was still just a worker. The second person had become a design engineer. The third person is now the boss, running a large construction company. We cannot change our circumstances, but our perspective will determine our future. Have you ever had a dark day? If you only look at difficulties, you will be stuck in them forever. But if you see difficulties as opportunities, everything will be different. A man held a cup of hot tea, but still refused to let go until he felt the burning sensation. The monk said, "In life, only when you feel enough pain will you let go." Anger is like holding hot coal. The first person to be hurt is not the other person, but yourself. I have lost relationships because I could not control my emotions. When I calmed down, I realized that words spoken in anger are like a double-edged sword, cutting both the speaker and the listener. The old mother and the disrespectful son. Although her son was often hot-tempered and rude, the mother only remembered the good things he had done when he was a child. Eventually, her love awakened the son, and he returned to take care of her in her later years. When we focus on the good things in others, we build more meaningful relationships and become less judgmental. I used to hold on to the hurt from my best friend, but when I let go, I felt life became lighter. The man who gave up everything to find peace. After giving up his job, his possessions, and his busy life, he went to the mountains to practice. But one day he realized that peace was not on the mountaintop, but in his soul. Running away from life does not bring peace. Only when we face ourselves can we find peace. There were times when I felt tired and wanted to give up everything. But instead of running away, I learned to calm down through meditation and realize that peace is always within me. The shoes that don't fit. A man bought a pair of expensive shoes that didn't fit, causing him pain wherever he went. In the end, he had to let go and find a more suitable pair of shoes. Things that don't belong to you, no matter how beautiful, will not bring happiness. I once tried to hold on to a job that didn't suit me just because I didn't want to give up. But when I let go, I found a new job that was more meaningful. A wife always expected her husband to be perfect, while the husband felt he was never good enough. After learning to accept each other's flaws, they found happiness again. True love is not perfection, but companionship and acceptance. I used to expect too much from my partner, and that made the relationship suffocating. When I learned to love unconditionally, everything became better. 3 mantras to let go of worries. Don't worry. It's okay. It will pass. The little things in life are valuable when we know how to appreciate them. When we know how to slow down and appreciate every moment, life becomes more meaningful. Happiness doesn't come from big things, but from simple moments. Living with an open heart, you will realize that life is always worth living. Don't wait until everything is perfect to be happy. Find happiness in every step of your journey. A poor, hungry man was given a loaf of bread. On his way back, he saw a hungry child and decided to share half of his bread with the child. That night, he realized that the joy of giving is greater than the joy of receiving. Kindness not only helps others, but also frees us from selfish worries, bringing peace to our souls. I used to think that helping others would cost me time and resources. But after helping many times, I realized that the feeling of giving is the greatest gift I have. A lotus flower grows out of the mud. Even though it is dirty, it still perseveres to reach the surface of the water and blooms pure. This story symbolizes patience and purity, no matter how difficult life is. Patience is not weakness, but the strength to overcome adversity and grow. In the early days of my career, I encountered countless failures and criticisms. But through perseverance, I learned how to turn difficulties into opportunities and eventually achieve success. A man searched for happiness by traveling all over the world. After many years of searching, he returned home and realized that happiness is always present in simple things like family meals, children's laughter, and peaceful moments with loved ones. Happiness does not lie in big, distant things, but in the way we cherish every small moment in life. There was a time when a traveler traveled everywhere to find the answer to happiness. When he stopped in front of a mirror, he realized that all the answers were within himself. All roads lead to you. No one can live for you, and only you can decide your own destiny. Don't look for happiness outside. Be your own best friend and start your journey of self-discovery. I used to live based on other people's judgment, but one day I realized that only by accepting and loving myself, I could truly find peace. After thousands of failures, Edison still did not give up on making the light bulb. He once said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Failure is not a stopping point, but an opportunity to learn and improve yourself. I have failed many times in my career and felt hopeless. But every time I stood up after failure, I learned to be stronger and more confident in myself. A prisoner was imprisoned for many years, but by keeping his faith and hope, he overcame all difficulties. The day he was released, he realized that it was hope that helped him survive the darkest years. When everything seems to be at a dead end, hope will be the light that guides you. There are times when I feel exhausted and want to give up, but just a little hope, I find the motivation to continue moving forward. A man spent his whole life working, but never had time to sit down and enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning. One day he decided to take a break, make a cup of coffee, and realize that simple happiness can come from the most ordinary moments. Life is not a race. Learn to slow down, enjoy every moment, and find joy in the little things. I used to think that working hard was the only way to succeed, but now I have learned that sometimes stopping is the wisest move. A father told his son, "Everything in life will change, from the happy moments to the sad ones. Learn to embrace change, because it is the nature of life. Impermanence is an inevitable part of life. Only when we accept it can we find peace." I once tried to hold on to a relationship that had ended. Only when I learned to accept change did I feel at peace. A group of friends knitted a bracelet together to remind each other that no matter how far they went, their friendship would always exist. Years passed. They met again and realized that love was what connected them through all the events. No matter how life changes, love and connection are always a solid foundation to help us overcome difficulties. I used to think I could live alone, but the hardships made me realize that love and connection are indispensable in life. Life is a long journey where every experience is a valuable lesson. Learn to love yourself, cherish every moment, and live with an open heart. Only when we slow down and accept both joy and sadness can we truly find peace and happiness. A robber came to the temple with the intention of stealing, but the monk did not fight back and even gave him food. When the robber asked why, the monk just smiled. "If I cannot help you return to the right path, at least I will not add to your sins with hatred." Compassion is the greatest power, not only helping others, but also helping us live peacefully in life. I used to resent someone who hurt me, but when I forgave and had compassion for them, I realized that I was also free. A mother could not throw away her dead son's old shirt. One day she decided to give the shirt to another child. Seeing the child wearing the shirt and being happy, she realized that she had let go of her pain and found new comfort. Letting go does not mean forgetting, but learning to transform pain into love. I once lost a loved one and felt empty, but when I focus on the good memories and share them with others, I feel like they are always present in my life. An artist spent his whole life completing his painting. Despite many difficulties and having to do temporary jobs to make a living, he never gave up on his passion. In the end, his painting was not only completed, but also became a masterpiece, known to the whole world. Passion is the fire that lights up your journey. As long as you don't give up, success will come. I used to think that I was not capable of pursuing my passion, but when I devoted myself to it, my life became more meaningful than ever. A man carried too much luggage on a long journey. When he could not continue, he was forced to leave behind unnecessary things. He felt lighter. His life became more comfortable and meaningful. Life becomes easier when we know how to keep the important things and let go of the unnecessary things. I used to live with too many goals and expectations, which made me tired. Only when I learned to live simply did I feel truly happy. A Zen master always meditated under the sound of a bell. When his students asked him why he did not feel noisy, the Zen master replied, "The bell is just a sound. Only when our mind is calm, all noise becomes meaningless." Silence is not just not speaking, but a way to listen to the soul and find peace in the midst of a bustling life. There was a time when I thought that talking a lot would help solve problems, but after learning to listen and be silent, I realized that it was the key to understanding others. A man was always afraid of heights, but he decided to challenge himself by jumping from a high bridge into the water. After that jump, he realized that fear was just an illusion that prevented him from achieving freedom. Facing fear is the first step to overcoming limitations and opening up new possibilities. I used to be afraid of public speaking, but when I overcame that fear, I found more confidence and maturity within myself. A pair of sparrows lived together for many years. Even though they sometimes disagreed and got angry, they still came back to each other, accepting each other's flaws. True love is not about being perfect, but learning to accept and love even in the shortcomings. I used to think love had to be perfect, but after many experiences, I realized that acceptance is the foundation of happiness. Life is like a river. Sometimes the water flows fast, sometimes it is calm. The important thing is not to control the current, but to learn to swim with the current and find peace within yourself. Have you ever felt like you were chasing a dream that was just a pipe dream, only to find that when you touched it, it was all smoke? Life is a journey full of illusions. Success can fade, joy can fade, and everything changes. But what if you knew how to turn it all into strength? Everyone faces change. Jobs don't work out, relationships fade, or dreams get out of reach. What makes some people fall while others keep going? It's the willingness to change. When you learn to embrace change, you turn seemingly unfavorable things into opportunities for a new life.